grounded.
And feel your bodies and your hearts and your souls firmly grounded and planted in this wonderful CCL community.
And thank you so much, Reverend Janet, for
Thank you.
doing such a beautiful job. Get it together a little here. So we'll see you on Wednesday.
Yay! I'll be seeing all of you on Wednesday.
Yes, you will.
Right? That's right.
And come Tuesday to the UCM thing too, because we're going to be doing a lot of singing and playing and eating good food.
There you go.
That always sounds good.
Okay. So, when I asked Dottie today, who was the speaker, and she said, you are. Basically, the topic today was about the fact that December is the holiest month of the year. And why is it the holiest month of the year? Because there's celebrations of all sorts, all throughout the month of December. And each of those celebrations are all surrounded around different cultures, different religious beliefs, different energies. And the interesting thing about it is that, as Dottie pointed out, is that a lot of that is because it all centers around winter solstice, right? So winter solstice is traditionally around the 20th, 21st, and it's because it has to do with the rotation of the earth. It has to do with the moon phases. It has to do with the sun, the light. But the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year and the longest night. And it's after the winter solstice that the days slowly but surely start to get a little bit longer. And in the days before anybody knew anything about science, it was just, to them, was just their prayer work, and everything around that time period was all centered around the idea that our days are going to get longer. We're going to be able to plant plants again. The ice is going to clear up. The snow is going to go away. The green is going to come out. Our animals will reproduce. We will have children. We will also. So there was always hope that as it became the darkest, that we always knew that the light was beginning again. And the light was going to be a little bit, each day a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And before anybody started controlling the clocks with daylight savings time and standard time, I don't know about any of you, but before we went back to standard time, it was already getting dark earlier. So what the heck? It's like, why do we feel like we have to control and manipulate? We don't. It's all nature. It's all a part of things. And so what I wanted to do today was, after I read some of this that Dottie gave to me, is have everybody who wants to get up and either speak about a tradition that's something that's different, that you celebrate. We have people here from different cultures, different religious beliefs, and so on. And I think it would be lovely if people would share some things. And our dearest Joyce, I know I'm going to call on you at some point if you would like to say a little something about Kwanzaa maybe, or do you have something to say about something else, Christmas and how you celebrate, or anything of that sort?
Yeah, it won't be about Kwanzaa, but it would be about how my family, what we did.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. So the month of December is, as I said, is actually the holiest month of the year. But when you think about the Wheel of the Year, and we call it the Wheel of the Year in the Wicca tradition, the Druid tradition, and you look at the calendar, it's actually the Wheel of the Year. So as the year goes around, you have to think about the idea that there were holidays at every major point of the calendar. So we have winter solstice, December, a very holy month. When you're looking at summer solstice, which is in June, if there's any holidays, there's always something Christian as well as something that's the Earth holidays. Usually in May, we have May Day. We have and so all of it associates around with the Wheel of the Year. But December is a very interesting year because there are celebrations everywhere, all over the world for many, many different things. So Dottie kind of sent me this printout of all these wonderful things that are happening throughout the month of December. And not all of them are holidays. So December 1st, for example, International World AIDS Day. So this is an opportunity for people to unite who are fighting against AIDS, and for people to show their support for the people that are living with HIV. so important that we recognize that love is love, and that we support all and everyone through what they're going through, and which, by the way, it's not always been just a disease that's, it came about from some other things. It was not just because of what people think it is. And people are so, we have to, that's why they have the AIDS Day, our AIDS Juvenation Retreat here. We have people that are treated with kindness and gentleness and love that maybe they don't get to see or feel through the rest of the year. So we want to, and every quarter at least we have that, and we're very pleased to do that. As you know, December 2nd this year started Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a different time every year because of the fact that the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar. So we are a little loony. And so the lunar calendar does change the phases of the moon, and so it has to do with certain times. And we talked about Hanukkah last week, so we don't really need to go into that a lot. December 3rd was International Day of Persons with Disabilities Day. It promotes a better understanding of disabilities and disability issues and focus on the rights of people with disabilities. I know of some place that my friend and I stayed, and she has some disabilities. And they said to her, oh, well, there's 3 steps or 5 steps you have to step up to get into this room. That's, by the way, was the American Disabilities Act room, but we had to walk up 5 steps. And my friends, and she said, is there an elevator? Is there any kind of a ramp or something? And they said, no, it's only 5 steps. Only 5 steps to somebody who is physically in good shape is only 5 steps. But to somebody who's carrying an oxygen tank and having a difficult time walking or having to deal with that is quite an accomplishment.
Or in a wheelchair, or in a
walker. Or a wheelchair, exactly. To get into what's considered, and so this played an ADA room. Yeah, so we actually, we had a long list of things for this this hotel when we left because it was not a good thing. It's a good day, and actually, the Action Concerning Disabled Persons was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1982, and a major focus has been placed on this for further participation of peoples with disabilities to have a social life and to have a development in their parts of equality. Equality is so important. Equality is really important. So December 6th, St. Nicholas Day. I didn't know about that. Honors the birth of St. Nick. And he's the saint who is the role model for the gift giving at Christmas time. So he's commonly known, of course, as Santa Claus. But if you do research on St. Nick, you will find so many stories from all around the world, and interesting how different cultures see him differently. And the stories of the gift gifting are all very, very, very different. So, my naturopath says to me, quit looking at Dr. Google. But, so as far as, here's your symptoms, you don't want to be looking at Dr. Google. But when it comes to learning about things like this, Google is awesome because you can learn so much. It's amazing. Okay, so the 8th is Bodhi Day. Rohatsu, is that how it's said? Celebrates when Prince Siddhartha Gautama, a spiritual teacher and founder of Buddhism. So you notice I put Buddhas as well as angels out today. Sat under the tree and vowed himself to remain there until he attained supreme enlightenment. And he had experienced enlightenment and attained a nirvana, and a state of being free from suffering and broken from the birth of the recycle of birth, rebirth. So this is a Buddhist holiday, and it celebrates Buddha's understanding of the truth of existence and freeing himself from finding the perfect happiness. December 12th is Our Lady of Guadalupe Day. You will see a lot of, especially downtown San Jose and places like that, you'll see many, many representations of Lady of Guadalupe. And Maria, is there something special that happens where you're from in Chile for Lady of Guadalupe?
We don't know Virgen de Guadalupe.
So that's Mexico, right? Yeah, that's only Mexico? Okay. So maybe you can teach us a little bit about what's celebrated in Chile. So this is, of course, a Catholic religion or celebration. And children normally dress in traditional costumes, and I love the costumes because they're always so beautiful and colorful. And I love anything that has to do with colors. December 13th, St. Lucia's Day. So this is the day that the Swedes from all over the world honor the legend of St. Lucia. And for many years, Lucia brought faith and hope and a reason to believe in good things to come. We all need that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a statue of St. Lucia, but I think I need one. So her legend stems from Syracuse on the island of Sicily. It's thought that at a time when rulers of the land did not look favorably upon a Christian woman named Lucia, who had devoted her life to God and to the poor.
Well, how could you argue with that?
Yeah, she gave her entire dowry to the poor. She gave everything that she had. And so many girls in Sweden will dress up as Lucia brides. And they wear long white gowns with red sashes. So very, very Christmas colory, isn't it? The white I've seen white with red sash a lot at the holiday time. I think one time at the holidays I wanted this dress so badly. I think it was white with red dotted Swiss. I just loved it. I had to talk my mother into buying it for me, but I got it. December 16th, Las Posadas. Okay, thank you. I speak English very well, but not much of anything else.
Well, as far as we know, your Hebrew's okay.
Good faking, aren't I? So this commemorates the journey that Mary and Joseph made from Nazareth to Bethlehem in searches of a safe refuge. And and Mary could give birth to the baby celebrated chiefly in Latin America, Mexico, Guatemala, Cuba, and by Hispanics in the USA, beginning the 16th and ending the 24th of December. It's celebrated by Latinos and Spaniards and people who appreciate the culture and holiday of Mexican and Spanish. 17th to the 23rd. So there's a lot of holidays here. Saturnalia, so it's about Saturn, okay? So that's the festival of the honor of the deity Saturn. And it's held on the 17th of December, the Julian calendar, and expanded with festivities through to the 23rd of December. Celebrated with sacrifice, a public banquet, and followed by a private gift giving, and continual partying. So I like the continual partying part, that sounds good. December 21st, see if I can say it correctly, Yalda, an Iranian festival. The turning point, winter solstice. Amazing. Longest night of the year and the beginning of the lengthening of days. So Shabe Yalday, or Shabe Sheleh, is an Iranian festival celebrating the victory of light and goodness over the darkness and evil. Sound like a familiar story? Sounds like there's a lot of familiarity and a lot of, don't you often wonder, before telephones, before computers, before anybody knew how to communicate with each other, here we were spread out all over the world, and how we had so many similar celebrations and so many similar things. And and a lot of legends and a lot of mythology actually goes back to that time. So you have to think about the idea that, here somebody who is in Hawaii and somebody who is in Mexico, and how they both have the same story. One about corn, the first corn, and one about the first, I believe it's pineapple. And so it's, but they have these mythologies, and you look at them and you go, how did that happen? It's the like-mindedness. It's God. It's the one running through all of us. Every one of us has that divine connection. Isn't that amazing? I mean, to me, I'm always at awe with those kinds of things. So it's amazing how, I think that's why the holidays are a time where everybody talks about peace, right? It's a perfect time because it's the time when everybody's wanting peace. Everybody's wanting that wonderful energy. December 22nd, Dongzai Festival, or Winter Solstice. Literally, Dongzai literally means the extreme winter. It's one of the most important or festivals that's celebrated by the Chinese, the ethnic Chinese in East Asia during winter solstice time, on or around December 22nd. The origins can be tracked back to the yin and the yang philosophy of balance and harmony of the cosmos. This celebration will be days with longer daylight hours and therefore an increase in positive energy flowing in.
Yay.
I'm detecting a theme. December 25th, of course, Christmas Day. And a lot of people think that that's the date of Jesus' birth, but it is not. And it's okay. The reason why it was decided to be at this time period is because of the fact that it's right at winter solstice, right near the winter solstice, as the days are getting longer, when there's hope, when there's thoughts of peace, when there's thoughts of love. Isn't that amazing, again? That's the reason for choosing that day. So it says, long before the Christian era, festivals were celebrated at this precise time of year, and probably in order to swell the number of getting people to turn to Christianity and the Roman Church, they gave it the name of Christmas, and the tendency then. So the traditional customs, of course, resulted with the commingling of the birth of Christ, the agricultural and solar observances of midwinter, the Persian celebration of Mirtha, the Virgin Mother, the observation of Yule, Druidic Alba Arthrun, the celebration of winter solstice. There are many Christmas counterparts to the winter solstice festival. So isn't that amazing? Again, I know I'm saying the word that's amazing a lot, but I think it's all amazing. So,
But it's amazing.
yeah, and so we'll move backward a little bit. December 21st is winter solstice, or Yule. And Yule marks the winter solstice, the longest day of the night of the year, and shortest day. Celebrates the rebirth of the Norse tradition. Okay, the sun in the Norse tradition. Modern day Western Yule Festival contains a large blend of celebrations, and Doc Eileen will be talking more about that on next week, December 16th. Also on December 21st is Soval, Hopi Zuni tribes. The purpose of the Soyal ceremony is a ritual to bring the sun back from the long winter's rest. The Soyal solstice ceremony is a major Hopi ceremony which is celebrated over a period of 16 days. Starts with prayers and supplications and ends with the feast of a Kachina dance.
Boy, those guys know how to party.
And they do. And I've never met so many generous people as there is in the Hopi community. They have little to nothing, and yet they open their homes and they feed us. We've had a chance to go to their autumn ceremonies in the past. Amazing people, beautiful people, and we're so thankful for that. Okay, so December 28th, the Day of the Holy Innocents. Are there any of those left? Remember the biblical story of King Herod's orders to execute male babies in Bethlehem in order to kill baby Jesus? So it's a remembrance of that day. December 26th to January 1st is the Festival of Kwanzaa, created in the U.S. on December 26, 1966 by scholar and cultural activist Dr. Mulana Karenga. Patterned after the harvest festivals in Africa, Kwanzaa derives its name from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa, meaning first fruits. Symbols of Kwanzaa are set upon a low table laden with fruits and vegetables, a 7-branch celebration, and we have celebrated that here before. I know there are others that I probably missed, but I'm only reading off of papers right now, so this was what was printed out for me. I personally love to celebrate the solstice, and of course I celebrate Christmas with my family, and many years ago celebrated Hanukkah as well. So I just tell everybody happy everything, you know. It's so funny that people will get insulted. You said Merry Christmas to me and I don't celebrate Christmas. So what? You know, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa. If you celebrate Yule, have a cool Yule. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is to give the love. And putting those kinds of judgments on it are kind of, counterproductive in my opinion. In fact, very counterproductive. So I'd like to take a couple of minutes, and I'd like to allow other people to speak. And I know Tamara said she really had something that she wanted to share, and so Tamara, would you like to come up and share with us? I would love that. Thank you so much. Take the microphone, or do you want to?
I would love to walk around with it.
Okay, good luck. Go ahead.
This meditation we did today was perfect. I'm Tamara Bell, and my talk is about Mother Mary. She knows when you are sleeping. She knows when you're awake. I wanted to give this talk on 3 different parts. How I met Mother Mary. To me, this may not depict Mother Mary, but to me, this does depict Mother Mary. I met her at the Chalice Well in person, so I wanted to share that story. I wanted to share some stories about she knows every single person in this world. I've been working with her since 2011 when I met her. And then the third part is, with everybody's help in this room, I'd like to bring her through, if that would be comfortable for everybody.
So we have a little bit of a limited time, like, well, you know.
Yes, I'll make it. When do I have until?
Well, if you can do it within, can you do it in like 8 minutes or so?
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
So I took a trip to England by chance. One of the gals giving the trip to go to the different stones throughout Ireland, England, had always spoken to Mother Mary. One of our trips was to the Chalice Well, and Mother Mary was standing next to the gal who had always seen Mother Mary her whole life. It was an hour and a half from the hotel room to the Chalice Well, and an hour and a half back. Mother Mary was physically there the whole time. The gal asked, can anybody do a healing for somebody back in the United States afterwards? I said, I do healings. I went to her room. I said, I'm going to cheat and use Mother Mary since I saw her next to you today. And it worked out so well that Mother Mary told her that I can use Mother Mary from here on out. So I have, and I've had. Off the charts, amazing. This one time, I never worked ER at night in this one hospital. I've had 2 jobs my whole life. But this one hospital, I was the only day shift. This one time, you put where you're supposed to be. This man came in with his wife, huge MI. We don't do cardiac casts at our hospital. We did all the medicine we could do for him, waiting for a 20-minute ride from San Jose down to Gilroy to go pick him up so he could go back to a hospital that did do cardiac casts. Hours went by. No ambulance. Now that's never happened. But there's a reason. There's always a reason. So, after everybody left, because we'd given all the medicines, ER was busy with other patients. His wife was then, holding his hands. He had the whole tombstones. No oxygen was getting to his heart. His eyes was bulging from pain. He's sweating. The nurse says he's probably got 20 more minutes to live. He's sitting bolt upright. I said, can I go in and talk to him? say a prayer with him. And she goes, we'll take anything you can give. I went in, I called it prayer to him. I said, can I pray with you, with Mother Mary? And his wife, him and myself, the three of us held hands. She came through and she says, tell him this is not for no reason. That's what she said. She said, he came to a point of his life that he's supposed to turn to my son, Jesus Christ. And I said, Mother Mary, I can't say that, I'll get fired. Then she showed me. She wasn't going to do this to me. She showed me what I would do to myself if I denied her. Number one, I will have denied Mother Mary. Number two, he was going to die. He was in the process of dying right then. And number three, I just, I'd say, okay, I traded that for my job. And I'd have to live with that. So she, after she showed me the vision, I go, okay, bite the bullet. This is what Mother Mary's telling me to tell you. I said exactly her words, and he goes, oh, that sounds so right. And of course, his heart went back to normal. The ambulance finally came. They probably thought, that darn Gilroy Hospital never, they can't get anything right. They tell us this is an emergency. We come, and this guy's just fine as can be. And I have story after story. It's been amazing working with her, but I do have to share this one other story. The woman next door was dying. She was in hospice, and she said, I was reading to her, and her husband was no longer sleeping in the bed next to her, so the cat, because she was dying, he wanted to sleep in the other room. So the cat was sleeping where his feet would have been, is what the arrangement was. And so as I read to her during the day, she stopped me and she goes, I'm going to hell. I said, well, and she knew I work with Mother Mary. I said, do you want me to bring Mother Mary through and see what she has to tell you? She says, so she came through and she goes, I love her from her head to her toe. And I'm going to show her tonight in a way that she knows didn't come from you. It's coming directly from me. And so the next day, I thought, what happened? What happened last night? She goes, about 3 a.m. in the morning, the cat jumped up, looked at my head, and I felt these two loving hands lift my head gently up. And I could feel the love pouring out from those hands to my head. And then the cat went like this to the feet, after she had gently put down the head. The cat looked at her feet, and her feet rose up, and she could feel the love pouring into her feet. And then gently, after a while, her feet went down. And then the cat did its, round turn and went to sleep. And she goes, Mother Mary came, told me that she loves me from my head to my feet in a way that I know didn't come from Tamara. So that's one of my favorite stories. So I'm going to see, usually it takes me a few minutes to bring her through.
So tell you what, why don't we wait, and people that would be interested in hearing about that, going to the lobby, and so that, because, they have the people who are interested in having a healing with Mary, so it's more private.
Okay, I was just gonna see if she wanted to say something about the church. But that's okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we'll go in there with you.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Emma, thank you. Beautiful story,
So
beautiful
right
story.
after,
So-
right after
so true.
service, let's meet in the lobby, and we'll have a meeting with Mother Mary.
I think that's wonderful, and Tamara, we so appreciate that. I think it'd be a magnificent talk to bring to the church one day, or even a workshop. I think that would be really
Yeah.
fabulous. I would love it if you would do something like that. I would be happy to attend. So Joyce, do you have a story for us quickly before we?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Oh,
I'd love to have
wait,
you.
Joyce
oh,
always has a story.
so scary.
It's so much fun.
Trying to be quick.
I know, but we love your stories.
I don't think I've ever done anything quick. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Joyce.
Your jokes were quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah?
Yeah, you just like pop those out real quick.
Oh,
Say something quick.
Christmas. How we grew up, how I grew up celebrating Christmas, it was a one-day event. Ooh. That we prepared months for. And what that means is that when you live on a farm, you start preparing towards midsummer for all the things you will need for the rest of the year back to spring again. So back to April, May again. And so the fruits, the vegetables, the squash, the yams, all that stuff. And Christmas, though, was really special. It was absolutely special. But no one ever talked about it. It wasn't a big deal, except it was a big deal. Because we had plenty of food. We fed most of the people, a lot of the people we knew on the road we lived on. Country road, Route 1, Box 248. Clarksdale, Mississippi. I learned it. You don't forget it. First road. We had no phone. There was no zip. But we had a route. Ooh. On the day of Christmas, before Christmas was the key. This was when all the baking happened. This is when you got everything ready, except for the meat. All the cakes and the pies, all of that was ready. And then Christmas morning, we would have a really great breakfast. We're talking grits, hoe cake, ham, eggs. This is serious stuff. And we would have all of that, and we would put on nice clothes like we were going to church, but we weren't. And then the cooking would start on Christmas Day for the meat product. But here's my story. Christmas Eve, I decided I wanted to meet Santa. Well, because I had a suspicion that Daddy was Santa because no white guy was coming in our house at midnight. I knew that. You know what I'm saying? See, I knew you'd get it. No, not with Daddy. Daddy was pretty serious about protecting us, right? So I decided I was going to wait up to see who came in the front door. We didn't have a chimney. We had a front door. We had a back door. Everybody came in the front door. So I decided to wait up. And I waited and I waited and I would not fall asleep. Santa comes at midnight. Okay? That's when Santa was to come. Everybody knew that, even in Mississippi, bless us. My younger siblings were laid out sleeping. And I'm sitting there, determined. My sister Dorothy Mae said to me, Joyce. She didn't put the C in there. I should have known something was up right then. No C. And I said, yes, Dorothy. She says, you know, it's getting late, and if you don't close your eyes, the Sandman is going to come and put sand in them. And you know what it's like when you get a little dirt or gnat in your eye. And I said, ooh. And I'm a little kid, and I'm going, yeah, it hurts a lot, Dorothy. She said, if you close your eyes, that won't happen. And then you can be there, you can open them up, and Santa will be here. So I closed my eyes, and I fell asleep. I crashed. The next morning I get up, Santa has come and have put that toy under the bed that I didn't want. I did not want a baby doll that cried mama. I did not. I took care of 3 siblings. What did I want a baby doll going mama? I did not.
So relate to that.
See what I'm talking? And so I have this doll, and the little doll is a little white doll with blue eyes. Because they didn't have black dolls, not in Mississippi. And so I didn't want the doll. I don't care what color it was. I didn't want it. I wouldn't have taken it. So I get the doll, and I go stand and stare at my sister. And I give her the real nasty eye. And I stare at her and stare at her, and she got embarrassed. She dropped her head. She said, I'm sorry. And I just turned and walked away. Then I went over and I looked at my father and I said, Daddy? He said, yes, Joyce, C? I said, ooh, I got the C. I said, did you see Santa? He said, no. He said, I miss Santa. My father never lied, but he's lying now. He missed Santa. I said, oh. So from then on, I had my suspicions about Santa. And from then on, I never stayed awake again to see Santa because I knew who Santa was.
How'd you know?
I knew Santa was my father.
How'd you know?
Must I say this again,
But he
girls?
said no. She's psychic.
I'm telling you right now. Oh, I was psychic, was I?
Yeah, you were
I was psychic. I knew who Santa was. I'm telling you, no white Santa, ho, 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 is coming in my house. That's how I knew it was my father. Because Daddy would have whooped him. He would have, and then I had 6 brothers. 4 of them would have helped whoop him. And I probably would have got a kicking. So I just wanted to tell you that. It was kind of fun. But from then on, though, I really did have a whole different approach with Santa. I did. I always wanted to see a black one. By the way, I have a black Santa. Some friends gave it to me years ago. They got it in a divorce. Really. The wife left the husband, and the sister, I knew them all, gave me a black Santa that stands about 2 feet tall, beautifully made, and I have a black Santa.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Joyce. So, Reverend Joyce C., we love you. Thank you so much.
I love all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do.
So I wish I had time for a whole bunch more stories because I'll bet there's amazing stories from everybody's households and things like that. You know, my mother believes in Santa Claus even, and you know, this. I come from a Jewish family. My mom says I've always believed in Santa, and I personally believe, Joyce, that wherever Santa is, he is the culture of whichever family he's visiting.
That's right.
So you know, your Santa was black.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, you notice I put out Angel of Colors over here as well.
Dude,
Because
yes, I did.
I personally don't think that Jesus was a white man either. I don't think he was some blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. And maybe he appeared that way to some people, but I think that he was definitely, you know, had darker skin and you know, we consider where he was from. But, you know, I wanted to thank everybody. Maria, do you have a quick, or do you have anything you wanted to share, or?
Not really.
Okay.
Chile, more than anything now, is commercial.
Very commercial.
It's about presents, they don't even remember about Christ being born.
So let's see,
The
more commercial.
Catholic country is dominated by the Catholic Church,
Mhm.
oppressed by the Catholic Church. So
Yeah. That's Too bad. Yes, Patty, quickly.
I have a quickie.
Very good.
Oh,
I was brought up in San Francisco and in Knott Hill, and our church was Old St. Mary's, which is in the middle of Chinatown. We go to midnight mass. I don't know how it happened, but somehow our presents were there after we came home from midnight mass. And all of us went to mass, so I have no idea who did it, but I went on for years. I mean, I was into 12 and 13, and I was still trying to figure out, by this time I know there's no Santa, but who in the heck puts our presents out? Because I don't see anybody do them, and they're under the tree when we get home. So, that's my
Wow, so
story.
you had some magic. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I had magic, and I really believed it. I mean, I knew there was somebody. I knew there wasn't a real Santa,
Yeah.
but we had our own Santa that came between midnight mass and when we got home.
That's amazing. That's
I
wonderful.
gotta say one thing about San Francisco. I remember caroling on the cable cars.
Oh, yes, I remember those days. So I want to thank everybody who contributed to today and for allowing us to flow in the way that we did. And, you know, and to be a part of the love of this community and to be a part of the energy. And each and every one of you contributes so much. And however you celebrate your holidays, I hope that they are beautiful, wonderful, filled with love, filled with joy. And so let's, I think what we're going to do is